You're invited to imagine what's next. What the next view you wake up to will be. Where your next adventures will start from. Your perfect space to entertain. And your sanctuary to unwind in. As you begin to imagine your new place, we'll be here to help you find it. Because nothing compares to what's next. Sothebysrealty.com.
Hello and welcome to our Diwali special. On the Urban Agenda, we throw light on India's housing market and cull out key insights which we hope will help you make that big decision. Should you wait for the market to become steady on prices, or should you swiftly close on a good residential property? Where is demand headed? And are prices likely to rise or pause? Now, here are three key statistics which set the stage for our discussion. According to Anaroc's latest research data, in the third quarter of calendar 2023, housing sales created another peak with about 1.2 lakh units sold in India's top 7 cities, which is a jump of 36% compared to 88,000 units approximately sold in the same quarter last year. Now, average residential prices in these top 7 cities collectively saw a double-digit growth of 11% in June to September 2023 against the third quarter of 2022. Most importantly, if you look at the sales in the top 7 cities for the first 9 months of calendar 2023, these stand at almost 3.5 lakh units compared to 2.6 lakh units which were sold pre-COVID in the entire 2019. So in 9 months, we've exceeded an entire year pre-COVID. Now, we have quite a power-packed panel to answer the questions that I asked right at the top. Sanjay Dutt, MD and CEO, Tata Realty and Infrastructure Limited, Manish Shah, MD and CEO at Godrej Capital, and Amit Goyal here with me in the Delhi studios, Managing Director at India Sotheby's International Realty. So we've got a developer, we've got an IPC broking company, and we've got a lender. So all three covered. Sanjay Dutt, first to you. I can see you have that massive big smile on your face, unstoppable, runaway. These are the kind of words, headlines to describe the demand. Do you feel that we've got into some sort of a FOMO all around when it comes to buying a house? Are we still in the same zone, or are we slipping out of it?
I believe people want to enjoy their life. They want to celebrate their life. And I think that will be only possible if you're part of a community, if you're part of a development with all the amenities where wellness is taken care of, whereas recreation is taken care of, where the family needs, whether you're a young child or an elderly parent who needs attention. And the newer developments which are being launched today have this celebration, lifestyle, wellness offering, which the developments before didn't have. So that's the reason I believe the runway for this success is still quite a bit, because the people who have homes will also be switching to these homes, which perhaps the earlier generation did not witness.
So you're saying people are upgrading and people want to celebrate life, and therefore better product is what's on their mind. I'm also, Manish, to ask you, this is despite home loan rates rising from 6.25, 6.5 to, over 9% now. I'm surprised that this has not affected demand. I mean, every time you think that maybe now demand's going to probably slow down, but that hasn't happened. Why?
So, Manisha, firstly, we are the only major market, and perhaps the only market in the world where pricing, especially on loan products and housing loans in particular, have merely gone back to the rates they were pre-COVID. So, when we say EMIs have gone up, or, the debt burden's gone up, it had gone much lower. So it was, in the context of our industry, unnaturally low post-COVID. So it was only when the repo went to 4 and, people were borrowing at 6.5. So one, they've merely gone back to where they were pre-COVID. Going into COVID, we were already, at the end of, and the panelists on the call are a better place to, to talk to this. But we were just coming off a down cycle in the, in the housing space. And what that meant is going into COVID, and even after we've come out, of COVID, we're still at a multi-year high in terms of affordability. Incomes in the last 3 years have gone up. Apartment prices haven't gone up by nearly as much to put a dent in the affordability. So affordability is at an all-time, it remains at an all-time high. Unlike the West, pricing on your mortgage has merely gone back to where it was. So none of this is unnatural or unheard of. And you're, as long as you're optimistic about where your income is headed, we see no reason, for demand to come down, and we see it in the borrower profile. Right, it's still very heavily focused on end users looking to buy in order to live in them.
All right. So you're saying that affordability hasn't really got affected. Incomes have risen, and we may keep saying 6.5 to 9.5, but you have just gone back to pre-COVID levels. All right. Then let me come to prices. Now, prices, if I read some of the stories, and if you have, anecdotal evidences that in some micro markets like golf course, prices have gone up 50%, Dwarka Expressway, Noida Expressway, some markets of Bengaluru have gone up by 30% in the last 1.5 years, and that's a sane market. So here's my question to you. The 100 crore big sale on Golf Course Road, I mean, literally, I can see a FOMO happening in that market, Amit Goyal. You know this market inside out. Should people be really worried about galloping prices, or should they look at more sane average price increase, which according to me and data, it haven't gone up that crazily? I mean, about 8 to 20% is where price increases have ranged between last year and this year.
So thanks, Manisha, for asking this question. Actually, you're right. This is one of a kind of a transaction which has happened, right? And it's more to do with the amenities that the Camellias apartments offer, and which is what most people are today looking at, especially in the luxury segment, where there is rising income, there is rising, wealth and demand. People are really buying, expensive properties more for the software than just the hardware or brick and mortar, right? So, but people should not really get carried away by seeing one of these transactions. There are similar sized apartments in the similar micro market which may be available at 1/3 or 1/4 of the price. Right? They may not offer the same amenities, they may not offer the golf course and the similar clubhouse, etc. that DLF offers. But at the same time, there is rising wealth, which is actually, the case. There is robust demand in the market. People are queuing up for buying something which is ready to move in. People want to upgrade their homes and lifestyle. At the same time, people should not just feel that just for missing out, just for the FOMO, they end up take a hasty decision, buy something very quick without doing their proper checks and balances, whether on title of the property or the prices.
Okay. So you're saying don't get FOMO, or at least fear of missing out is not necessary as of now. Don't go by the headlines as of now. I'm looking at luxury housing segment in India. This is CBRE's latest research, which says unit priced at 4 crore and above have maintained a strong sales momentum, registering a 97% year-on-year increase. I'm going to come back to you. Sanjay, the whole market seems to be shifting more towards luxury. My question to you is, developers are also launching more luxury projects now than before. Why is that happening? Who's going to build mid-income housing if all of you start building luxury homes?
It's a tough one, Manisha. I think land valuations have got impacted. Construction cost has gone up. What we at one time perceived and conceived as an affordable or premier, we have no choice but to position that as luxury to really recover and make the desired return on our investment. So that's really the compulsion. But on the other side, unless you differentiate a product, you don't get a premium. So therefore, the developers tend to push the product further up in positioning, and they're able to realize the value. So why not? So to answer your question, there will be a developer segment who will drive volume through affordable and mid-housing. But for the moment, the projects and the demand drivers are favoring more premium and luxury.
Okay. Manish, what's been the loan disbursement demographics for you? Have you seen a big shift in terms of larger ticket size loans, or do you think that it's still at a healthy level? Can you just give us the breakup?
And I think it's still at a healthy level, right? Whenever you look at percentage growth, it's important to look at the base of which you're growing. So premiumization is here to stay, and it seems like it's a multi-industry thing. Like it's playing out in vehicles and cars. It's clearly playing out in properties. Where we've seen, both large levels of growth and coming off large bases or big bases is in that 30 lakh to 1 crore range, where you've got the large numbers now. In our world as well, I think the terms premium and affordable are a bit overused and sometimes abused. We were talking earlier about how, what inflation's done to prices. But a bulk of our demand we see, and the runaway growth continues in that 30 lakh to 1 crore range. And that for us, of course, we're working off a small base as well, and therefore we're seeing 80, 90, 100% growth depending on the city that we're working in that segment. On the luxury side, the demand for and the dynamics of affordability around borrowing are different, and therefore again the units are fewer and growth rates, while they remain strong, percentages look a lot healthier, but in absolute number terms the bulk of the action still is in the 30 to 1 crore.
All right. Okay, coming back to just luxury. Even if I look at the fact that there has been a 97% year-on-year increase in 9 months compared to last year, which are the CBRE figures, and these are for 4 crore plus apartments, Amit. What is the profile of the buyer? I mean, why does there seem to be so much demand for this segment of housing, the 4 crore plus?
I think it's also to do with the supply. On the supply side now, we see many more projects coming up on this side. Most of the developers today are exploring options. They are looking at micro markets, looking at, good software, as I said before. At the same time, we are also seeing, people in that segment as HNIs, number of HNIs grow in India. And the number as per reports is expected to double to 1.6 million HNIs in India by 2027. So as the number grows, the demand grows. And these are the people who are coming and buying larger properties, buying, more space, more amenities, more city-centric properties, more lifestyle, and the demand. I am expecting.
So you're not surprised?
I'm not surprised, actually, given the capital markets, the way they are doing, given the unicorns and the startup ecosystem doing great, and all this capital being made is being put to, buy real estate for people for their self-use.
All right, self-use. We're going to just, come back after the break to ask this next very important question. So should you be buying residential real estate only for self-use, or is this a good time to also look at a second home as an investment to diversify your portfolio? After all, it's Diwali. We need to get some investment advice as well from our panelists. Stay with us.
You're invited to imagine what's next. What the next view you wake up to will be. Where your next adventures will start from. Your perfect space to entertain. And your sanctuary to unwind in. As you begin to imagine your new place, we'll be here to help you find it. Because nothing compares to what's next. Sotheby'srealty.com